Now, of course, Trump's back and forth on tariffs is happening while the federal election campaign on this side of the border is in full swing. Let's bring in Scott Reid, their CTV News political commentator and former director of communications to then Liberal Prime Minister Paul Martin. Scott, thanks as always for joining us.
Morning, Roger.
Tariffs, candidates ousted, allegations of tax havens. Just another day on the campaign trail. What is sticking out for you on this on today?
Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what sticks out to me. Yesterday did feel like just another day on any campaign trail. It felt like it was, by and large, like a regular campaign. You had the leaders in various places. They were making announcements that were policy-driven. They were getting questioned about the issues of the day. They were dealing with blow-up candidates, as you mentioned. So it wasn't quite as dominated by Donald Trump, even as the markets were melting down and the effect of these tariffs from around the world started to creep up on us all. So I think as we enter this third week, the big question is, what will the next week be like? Is it going to revert to form, to something like a regular campaign with competing policy announcements, and people will measure things through that lens? Or will Trump force his way back into our campaign? Will there be, some are looking at the possibility of sector-specific tariffs being applied this week? Will that force the Prime Minister off the campaign trail again, back into the robes of Prime Minister? And we know that so far, when that occurs, it has a buoying effect for Mark Carney and a dampening effect for all the other parties.
And so is it Trump that makes that decision on what the next week shapes up to be?
Hey, listen, if you can tell me, you can make $1 zillion, buddy, because no one seems to know what's coming next or what it means out of this White House. You see the reaction of the business community and of the investment community. I work on the assumption that at any given day, Donald Trump could roll over and blow up the federal election here, just as he's doing with the global economy. But it really will be an important week, I think, for the Conservatives who've had trouble getting on track with the Trump issue set. And can they make the adjustment? Do they get a window of time to try to make their pitch to Canadians unfettered by constant Trumpisms?
And what do they need to do to be heard then?
Well, I think if you were the Conservatives, you'd like it if this campaign sort of moved back to something that's more normal, so you can start to focus on the time for a change message set. It took the Conservatives a while, but I think they're in a stronger place in terms of getting traction, figuring out what they want to say with respect to Donald Trump. But I think what they would really, really like is to have this be a bit more of a traditional campaign. Get 4, 5, 6 days in the clear where they can campaign on time for change, reminding people the Liberals have been in power for a decade, trying to knock Mark Carney, whose personal approval numbers are stratospheric, knock him down, probably put out some negative ads. I think, to be honest, when you look at the rhythm of this election, you know the debates are coming up in 10 days or so. This is the week that if the Conservatives are going to close the gap, make themselves competitive for Election Day, this is the week it needs to happen. If it gets blown up by Donald Trump again, or if they fail to execute, that could mean real trouble.
Okay. Scott, thank you as always, sir.
Thank you.
CTV News political commentator Scott Reid.